I get a T on it and it says setting point up for me, but nothing found.
I'd like to welcome everybody today to the Moore County Board of Elections meeting on Friday, August the 30th, 2024 at 5:30. I'm going to bring this meeting to order. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I will now turn it over to our chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Appreciate everyone being here this afternoon. As you've heard, I'm sure, that this meeting of the Moore County Board of Elections, and I will proceed with the roll call. Please state your name and whether you have any conflict of interest related to the matters before us this afternoon.
Holly Powell, no conflict.
Bob Howell, no conflict.
Antoinette Kelly, no conflict.
Susan G. Adams, no conflict.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry,
Just a second.
I'm trying to get Marty to call through them.
Okay.
He's gonna call me.
Yeah, I told him to call you now.
Better fuck on.
Kevin? It's 910-603.
There he is. Hi there. We are now in session. We need you to, we're doing the roll call of members and conflict of interest. I need you just.
Okay. Well, I am Martin Carpenter and no conflict.
Thank you very much. Now we're complete. And the next item on the agenda is public comment section. Does anyone from the public have a comment or a matter to address the board this afternoon? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to move the review and approval of minutes to the end of the meeting instead of doing them at the beginning. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right. In that instance, all in favor of of revising the agenda to move the review of the minutes to the end of the meeting rather than the beginning, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes. Thank you very much. That makes appointment of early voting poll workers. Next on the agenda, Ms. Dixon or staff.
Okay, so this is the finalization of the early voting names to be submitted to work for early voting. The Democratic chair was, he was okay with the list. He didn't add any names. Mr. Beto did add at least 5 names with that. And what we did with that, with the names, we kind of like switched them out because these were individuals who had never ever worked early voting before. And so we actually were able to get 2 people that actually came from 2 other counties that have worked before in early voting that had the experience. So we kind of swapped them out to work our early voting site. I think one was from Union County and one was they were from a different county. And so, because usually what we try to do is we try to make sure that they at least have so many elections under their belt before we place them into the early voting site. And so Annie can explain that better, but this is the final list. Most of them, the board, most of them were the ones that had already worked in the primary and the second primary. And so at the end, you will see like the totals. They're very close to what our totals are for the county. And so both of the chairs were pleased with that. And so we're asking the board to just, I believe you had opportunity to look at everything and to approve the list for the two sites. And if you have any questions, Annie can answer any other questions
Okay,
with that.
great. Thank you, Twana.
I was a little confused about, so the Republican chair suggested adding, did you say 5?
Yes, ma'am. Because what happened was when he looked, we were sure he wanted to make it more even with the percentage, with the Republican percentage at the bottom, which he wanted, because with the Democratic Party, he made it look like we were over that percentage. And so he wanted to make it kind of even, and I was like, well, okay. So he just added like 5 to make the percentages more even.
We added 5 Republicans?
Yes, 5 more Republicans, yes. But he added 5, but he kind of gave us, they weren't all Republicans, some of them were unaffiliated as well. So, but they never, no one had worked, like nobody had ever worked an election at all. And we were like, oh,
None of those 5.
yeah.
Yeah,
None.
so I went back to our list of poll workers and got 5 more that are able to do a couple of shifts. So we added 5 existing poll workers because we usually tell poll workers we'd like you to work 2, maybe 3 elections before you start working early voting, because you know how it can be confusing going back and forth. So being new, I think that's a little overwhelming. So having someone who's never worked an election come in and work early voting, I feel would be a bit traumatic for them. So I just reached out to a couple of existing poll workers, a couple of Republicans, and they agreed to work a couple shifts, so.
And so we're just using those to work in our regular election day sites.
Yes.
Those being, which are the ones or the poll workers that you're using on election day rather than early voting? The ones who had no experience before?
Yes, the ones who had no experience, we're just gonna use them as regular assistants, just regular assistants. So they're gonna come to our regular orientation classes like everybody else, just to get a feel for it. Because in that class, they get to get the rundown, and then they get to decide if that's what they really want to do, instead of just being thrown to the wolves and they're like, oh my God,
Sure.
and things of that nature. Yes.
Okay, so they'll go through the regular training
Mhm.
that you all have prepared.
Mhm.
Will be assistants at respective precincts on election day.
Yes.
And back to Annie. Rather than the specific names that you were given by the Republican chair, you substituted, found replacements from experienced poll workers to take the post. So, okay.
Yes.
And once again, I think it just helps for me to clarify this. What we have in front of us, obviously, is a pool of workers to draw from on each day that you all will arrange in advance. They are specific, I guess, and perhaps this could also be juggled for Carthage and the Aberdeen sites. This sheet just ensures that there's a good shot at great coverage on both sites every day of early voting.
Yes.
Okay. And even so, I understand what Tawana was saying about, and you, about the numbers and the percentages of registered voters by party in Moore County. And coming closer to that breakdown than the original list that y'all had sent out for the party chairs to revise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And even so, there are a few percentage points more, not more than Republicans, but more for Democrats, there are a few percentage points more early voting poll workers than there are registered percentages of Democrats in the county, and a few less percentage points for Republican poll workers. Thanks.
Got it.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
I have one. Can you hear me, Marty?
Yes, I can.
Okay. It brought to my attention that does a poll worker have to be affiliated with a particular party? Does it have to be Democratic or Republican, or can it be an affiliated party? Can they be an independent party and still work as a poll worker?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, so any, I mean, we have unaffiliated, I believe we had a couple of libertarians at one point as well. So,
We would like to get more of the Green Party and the Libertarian Party people to work. It's just the fact that they're just not organized at the local level.
Mhm.
And then in order for those poll persons that would like to still work, they can come and talk to you about that here and
Yes.
get in training?
Mhm.
That's all.
Okay.
That's it.
Great, just say, so be sure that we're in the right place. All right, so we had the presentation, we had some follow-up questions. Now I will entertain a motion to approve this list of early voting recommendations that the staff has prepared for us.
So moved.
Is there a second? All right, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving this list, please say aye.
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 All right, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Next, the appointment of multi-partisan assistance team, Ms. Dixon.
So yes, this is new. The state board, and Ms. Carey can fill in more with this. So the state board, when they updated their training manual, because we didn't do this before, now they have to be appointed by the board as well. And so we just got the material like August the 23rd, like recent, when they, because she had asked them about updating about the ID, photo ID information. And so when we had gotten it, we had saw that now the MAT team also had to be appointed by the board as well. And so we were like, oh, okay. And so she took those that were also working during the early voting times as well, and took a group of people that would have to get special MAT training, and Carrie can fill you in with that information. So go ahead, Carrie.
So I have 10 people, 5 Republicans and 5 Democrats. A multi-partisan assistant team, we go into skilled nursing and assisted living facilities to assist those residents with registering to vote, absentee ballot request forms, and then we go back and help them fill out their ballots and return those as well for them. So every time I go out, I have a team that's represented by both major political parties, 1 Republican, 1 Democrat, and then myself as staff. So that's why I have an even number of votes, because I'm just gonna take a team with me to each facility I go to. So I just need, and they are all poll workers, some of them are working early voting, all of them work election day. So I just need you to look over those appointments and let me know if you have any questions on them.
Mhm. And presumably you talked to these folks and they said, yes, we'd like to do that.
Yes,
Did you, and I know that you have gone to those facilities in previous elections. Did you have a team at that point?
yes.
I thought so.
Yeah, we just hadn't had the board appointed, but I've always had both party representations go in.
Okay, thanks.
I saw Susan grimace when you said, can we bring their ballots back? You mean they're absentee ballots?
Yes.
In absentee envelopes?
Yes, yes, they're all sealed in the envelope, they're properly completed. We return it under the assistance due to disability because they don't have access to postage. You know, typically they want us to mail those ballots, but we can't provide the postage. That scene is paying for their vote, and they don't have access to that postage, so we fill out the assistance section and we return them.
There's some of the ones we reviewed those last
Right.
election.
You'll see my name or some of the team members'
Right,
names on
Carrie
it.
was all over the place.
Yes. I already have 3 visits scheduled and they're not my normal visits, so
That's good.
I'm expecting a good turnout this year.
All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the multi-partisan assistance to work with Carrie at these facilities.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. All right. Now, as we've done in the past, we have a resolution pertaining to absentee meeting dates for the 2024 general election. Ms. Dixon?
Yes, sir. So, as you know, absentee ballots will begin to go out on September the 6th. I will say that Carrie and the front staff have been busy. I think she has over 1,000 plus.
As of today, I have 1,400 going out the first day.
Okay, so and we have been, and she's been preparing to get them to go out. We still have requests coming in like left and right. So as you see, I did prepare your calendars for you. So I believe on your first meeting, which is October the 1st, just be prepared because that's like 3 weeks after we do that first mailing for your first meeting to start. And so this just gives us an opportunity to prepare and get things done quickly, like cures and anything else that's necessary to be done prior to that first meeting within that 3-week period of time. And so this is what this resolution is for, just for the staff to take care of everything without having to wait for the board, because we've been having to calm a lot of our voters down. We've been very nervous about the mail ballots and if their votes are going to count. I already had one voter was like, oh, if there's something wrong, are you going to let us know right away, or are you going to wait? And so it's I know that this is going to be very instrumental in just having the board to agree to let us, do the work prior to you getting here, so we can, just keep that flow moving and just not backlog. Because I would hate for you to have to wait to correct stuff and then try to get things back out with that many things being ready to go. So this is what this is about. And you have all the dates that's also on your calendar as well. So I would like for the board to approve for the staff to take care of those things.
A question on the calendar. It says there's an election day absentee meeting at 5:30 on the 5th. That's not on the resolution.
Because this resolution is about absentee ballot meetings.
That is an absentee ballot meeting.
So for that day, so on election day at 5:30, we're just releasing absentee. We're releasing the result of the absentee. That's
We're
why.
not reviewing any absentee.
No, you're not reviewing any absentee.
So it's not an absentee meeting like. the-
Correct, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay.
It's just like, it's labeled as a, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good clarification. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve this absentee schedule?
So moved.
So second. Thank you very much. Any further discussion?
I think, thank you to whoever put this together. This is good.
Mhm.
Thought that'd be better for you to see it that way.
If you need it.
All right.
Did we vote?
No,
No.
that was part of the discussion with
Yeah, that was
Susan's
discussion.
expression of appreciation. Okay, all in favor of approving the schedule, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And that does it. Thank you very much. And another resolution pertaining to the upcoming election. It has to do with out of precinct votings and alternate sites. And again, Ms. Dixon, if you give us an overview.
So this is just something that we just have to do every year because we have some precincts that's just like on the county boundaries. Carrie, if you could just help me out, because I still, the outer precinct ones,
Oh, that's where there's no, viable precinct option within the precinct boundaries. So we have precincts that are adjacent to the precinct, they're just not within the boundaries. So every election, we have to reapprove the out of precinct voting places.
And my understanding is these are, as the resolution states, we have used these sites previously. There haven't been any problems or objections. Exactly.
Yep.
Any questions for the staff? Is there a motion to accept this resolution pertaining to out of precinct voting sites?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of this resolution, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Right now, back to what formerly was the first item, now the last item for today, review and approval of minutes from previous meetings. And let's see. I'll go ahead and appreciate the staff conserving resources and not making multiple copies of previous meetings, because we did have them distributed well in advance for our review. So, in a couple of places, we'll just take them one day at a time. In a couple of instances, there might be a little confusion. This is because of an incorrect date. We'll take care of all of this, but the first one is the meeting of March 2nd. Are there any board member made notes on any questions or edits for the March 2nd minutes?
Yes, I have a question. On my agenda from that meeting, it had been changed from 155 to 156 civilian ballots, and the minutes say 155, but I believe 156 is correct.
Okay, so
Can anybody?
I'm sorry about
Can we confirm that?
If it was 155 or 156, what meeting date? The second?
March the 2nd.
That was my only question about the March 2nd.
Yes. That's what it's the only way. Unfortunately. And it's the. Use that one. want to confuse things, but in the interest of efficiency, what does the board think about moving on to subsequent dates while we wait for confirmation on that, on the changed number
Okay.
of ballots? Okay, and I'll try to direct traffic. Excuse me,
That's the
Is that the
only
only thing?
that's the only thing that Holly had. I didn't
Okay,
have
okay.
anything on that. Anyone else? Susan, Tony, Marty?
Marty, you can't.
That was the only issue that we're waiting for.
It's 155.
155.
It's 1:55. Okay,
Thanks,
and
Gary.
that one's fine.
All right, the meeting of March 4th.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry,
Do we want to vote on each one? Just to do it, or you want to go through every single one first? It's up to us.
So you gonna do all of them and then do one vote, or you wanna vote on them individually?
I'd rather go through and make the changes and do one.
One vote.
Marty, you have any comment on that?
Do them all and then go at the end.
okay, sounds good. And then we can, if there are edits to make, we can, the resolution, I'll gently suggest consent that we move to approve them with the corrections that we've noted in our discussion. Okay? Now, March the 4th meeting. Anyone have any comments or questions about those minutes?
All's okay.
I'm fine. I don't have anything for March 4th. Holly?
No, I don't.
Okay. Marty?
No, I'm trying to bring that one. I've got the one March 15, but I don't have the March 4th one. That's okay, just go ahead. See if anybody has any issues.
Okay. I think we're all good on that one. March the 8th.
I have a question whether this is supposed to be March 5th.
Is that what your calendar shows?
Well,
Or your
I have an
agenda?
agenda for March 5th, and we don't have any minutes for March 5th. And I do have on the agenda, there were 6 to review,
All right, I'm sorry.
6 provisionals to review. I actually have 2 agendas for March 5th, one at 5 o'clock. Well, they both say 5 o'clock. The first one says counting of absentee ballots, signing the poll book of absentee voters, signing results tape of absentee ballot count, signing absentee abstract, chain of custody report, and then,
That was election day for the first primary.
okay, but that's a meeting and there's no minutes.
Okay.
And then there was another meeting after that where we looked at the provisionals.
So you're saying March 5th date has no minutes? Is that what you're saying?
We haven't been given any.
So I'm asking, is that what you're saying? Yes? We need
There, I
minutes?
have seen no minutes for March 5th.
Yes.
I'm wondering
That's
if the
what's-
one that's labeled March 8th is supposed to be March 5th. Because the second part of the March 5th meeting, or the first, I don't know which was first, we had 6 photo ID exception forms to review. And that's addressed in this one with the March 8th date.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have my agendas. I have in my calendar, I have a meeting on March 8th at 3 o'clock called the pre-photo ID meeting. So that's,
I say, when you look at the March 8th, the minutes labeled March 8th,
right?
the agenda I have for March 5th, one of the 2 agendas,
Mhm.
says there are 6 photo ID exception forms to review. And 3 were approved and 3 were disapproved.
That would have been March 8th, because March 5th was election day, we wouldn't have reviewed photo ID exception forms March 5th. So that agenda may
agenda's
be
wrong.
incorrect, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
that makes sense.
thank you.
March 5th agenda.
So then there's nothing wrong with the minutes.
Okay.
just to clarify, the March 5th agenda should say March 8th, correct?
Apparently,
Okay.
That's the agenda, but
Oh,
the minutes are okay.
I can deal with that.
Then we have, yeah, March 8th.
Okay, I am now looking at,
Oh, just comes
Right.
out of nowhere. I'm like, who is that?
Do you have any comments, Marty?
no,
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, which one are we on now?
Still on March 8th. Yeah.
All right. I don't have anything else on March 8th. Shall we move on? Yes. The next meeting is March 14th. Holly?
I don't know how, maybe this isn't necessary. You tell me what you think. And as I read more, I kind of got used to the way the wording was, but okay, so under ID not provided, after staff presented the 4 accepted and 8 not accepted ballots in this category, Holly Powell made a motion to accept ballots in this category as presented by staff, and then it goes on. It does say staff presented 4 accepted and 8 not. To me, it would be better to say accepted before as presented, so that you're saying the ones they recommended are the ones that we accepted. But if you don't want to add the numbers, I can live with it. The same thing back on no record of registration and under previously removed, but I'll live with it the way it is. In the previously removed, at the end of the sentence, it says the vote was 3 ayes and 2 nays with the vote passing. The vote was to reject.
Right. I have
So
the same kind of
It's
clarification.
worded in an awkward way.
The language is, I'm sorry.
So I was just gonna add to the end of the sentence to reject.
Okay. So the vote was 3 ayes and 2 nays with the vote.
Passing to reject,
Okay.
unless you have a better way
That's,
to
no,
word it.
just put it that way. We're good.
And the sentence just in the middle of that paragraph, that should be Director Dixon, and I think it says.
Something else. Oh,
Just
Yeah.
it
direct.
says
It's just a
directory.
it's just a misspelling.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
Then
While
I
we're on
can-
that
I can
paragraph.
live with the numbers.
What you need?
Just do your second page. All right, we're passing notes in class. Yes, it's tricky when the language, maybe at another meeting, or we can exchange some notes about what terms do we want when the board confirms or the
Recommendation.
recommendation of the staff.
Yeah.
And we
It
vote,
might be, we could work on it.
right, and the motion was passed instead of, because accepted and rejected, we'll leave those terms for the ballots themselves. Okay. It seems like I've got a note that looks like. No, I'm fine. Anything else for March 14th? No. Our next date is March 15th. I had everything was okay with that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In the paragraph, the paragraph begins the election day. The last sentence, I'm sure it's correct, but I couldn't quite get what it was saying.
This is from
I
March.
agree.
Okay.
I think, my suggestion to reword it was since the elections office cannot determine who was checked in but did not receive a ballot. So they were checked in at the computer, but they didn't get a ballot. What it said was who was voted. The computer shows they voted, but they didn't get a ballot.
I reread that like 3 times and I thought, what?
So it's checked, when you process someone in a computer,
Yes.
is
So-
checked in an
Yes.
appropriate term?
Yes, we call them check-in tables.
Okay,
So when they were checked in, an ATV was printed, authorization to vote was printed, and signed, and we had it, but no ballot was cast.
and you don't know which ATV it was.
Exactly.
Right.
So there is a voter in South Southern Pines that received voter history that really did vote because we couldn't figure out. And I went back and asked the chief judge, 2 judges, the ballot table people, if they could remember anybody wanting to spoil their ballot. And the spoiled ballot number matched the log and the number of spoiled ballots we had in our bag. So, and the number of ballots that came back was what was supposed to come out back.
So
Yes.
the only,
So what I'm figuring is they signed the ATV and then maybe there was a line at the ballot table and they just walked out and never got the ballot. So a ballot never left the building.
Okay,
exactly, so I'm sorry. go
I
ahead.
just couldn't figure it out.
Well,
No, I had to go back and try to replay
Yeah,
imperfectly the discussion.
because we often, once they do the ATV, we say they voted. They are
Yes.
voted in the
yes,
system.
because technically he or she is voted on the laptop.
So a better wording would be who was checked in but did not receive a ballot.
Or cast a ballot,
Or cast-
maybe cast a ballot might be.
No,
Because it never went through the tabulator.
I know, but that would imply it could be spoiled, and we know it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We're
Never
not missing
received
a
it.
ballot.
Yeah, maybe we could say never received the ballot.
You got that?
That'll cover both spoiled.
So the only possible inaccuracy would be in this voter's voting history record would be down as having voted in that primary, but they did not.
Exactly.
I have something further up the page, the early voting dash Ag Center abstract balanced with the tape instead of just balance, add a D there. And then under the early voting, the last sentence, I'd like to add some words. It says this disqualified her ballot, so her ballot had to be retrieved. And I would add, the results were manually added to the dot. Because the way it reads now, it's had to be retrieved and manually edited. The ballot wasn't retrieved and manually edited, the results were manually edited. Is that okay, Tony? Did you get that?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I am going to have to exit the meeting to go to another event. Please record my vote in approving the minutes after you all have made your corrections or amendments or whatever, that show that I vote to approve. And everybody else who has what happens.
Great. Thank you very much.
I don't-
But I'm not, I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm not sure that we can do that. We accept and appreciate your endorsement, but as far as recording the vote, until we've gone over the matter,
Okay.
I'm not sure that that's appropriate. appreciate your thinking ahead though, and for supporting the meeting and the rest of the board.
Okay, and I will see you on the next one.
Perfect. Thanks very much.
Bye.
You better change the minutes to say he was on.
Be careful, this is going out. Okay. Are there any other comments, edits for March 15th? April 5th, I don't have any notes on April 5th.
Can I ask?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Another agenda dated March 15th at 12:30. It says consideration of the second primary one-stop plan and consideration of temporary transfer of PHC to PHA 1. Yeah, that's it. Are there minutes?
Probably at my house, yes. Sorry, April 15th, or when?
March 15th at 12:30. So apparently we have two meetings, I think.
Hold on, there's probably some minutes in here.
I didn't see them in any of the notes.
Okay, yeah. On my calendar, I've got a meeting at 11 and a meeting at 12:30.
Yeah, I remember we had 2 meetings on that day.
Okay, well, we'll just.
We just need to get those.
We're missing those.
Okay. Say those dates again, because it's all running together.
March 15th, 12:30.
So you have the 11 o'clock one, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
11 o'clock one was the first one with the 12:30 one. Yes.
Anything else for that date? All right, our next meeting, I think, was April 5th. And my notes say I don't have any comments on that one, April 5th.
Not April 9th? Oh, wait, good. Never mind, fifth, I found it. No comments.
Anybody?
No comments.
All right, April 5th is good. April 9th,
April 9th,
Yes.
we considered one overseas ballot, so I suggest we edit. Member Susan Adams read off the accepted ballot for approval instead of ballots. And I made a motion to accept the ballot presented. So just take the S's off the ballots.
all right, anything else for April 9th? Thank you. April 15th. I don't have any notes on that meeting.
We don't have.
I don't have any, excuse me, in my notes, I haven't indicated that I have comments or edits or corrections.
Okay, I have a couple.
Sure.
Under appointment of early voting officials, Director Dixon presented the board with the, I think we should say, proposed list of early voting workers to approve.
Mhm.
So take the D off of the. Don't you need it? And then in the sentence, the Republican Party responded that they wouldn't say were in acceptance, strike were in, and just that they accepted the list provided.
Okay.
There's only one comment.
Okay. Anything else for April 15th? Right. April 16th.
On the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph, a motion was made to, at this time, at this item, I think it was meant to be to add,
two that are dated April 16th at 2 o'clock. Did everybody?
Not that we're,
Yeah.
that
You
we're
got the
different.
review?
I do that too.
I don't know.
Huh. Okay. Are they different?
Yes.
Okay.
The numbers in the one we just talked about match what's on my agenda. The other one talks about different numbers of like 13 civilian ballots. I don't know if the date's just wrong on it.
Date's probably just wrong on the 13th, so the ballot.
Okay.
Do I know what date that is?
Well,
Do you have your view?
we'll see if we have one that's missing. Well, actually, April 23rd.
Oh, the April 23rd is.
The April 23rd one, there, it's a duplicate.
Okay.
Kind of. I mean, when we get to the 23rd, I've got a couple of comments.
Okay. I think the one that says April 16th at 2 matches the information in the one that says April 23rd at 2. They both have 13 civilian ballots, 0
Yeah,
volunteer,
I think-
0 overseas. And one has signature lines and the other one doesn't. It's the only difference I see.
Right. Okay. Well,
Do you have
are we
something?
through? I will when we get to April 23rd. I mean, I guess we're kind of bleeding over into that. I just wanted, I would say, for one thing, note in April 16th, that there's a line at the end of the attendees, of the board members, that noted that Mr. Carpenter arrived after the absentee ballot proceedings at 2:08 p.m. And I'm certainly not in a position to call out Mr. Carpenter for being late, since I'm usually the guy who's late. But that line is significant with some other comments that I have in subsequent agendas that I'll go into now, I suppose. That line persisted into the minutes for April 23rd, okay? Though he was actually here. And then on April the 30th, I know I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but just to kind of let you know, you'll know what's to anticipate. On April 30th and May the 7th, the line about Marty arriving late was omitted, but his name wasn't added back to the members who were present, even though he's recorded as having voted or seconded or acting, and he was present in those meetings. So all we need to do as far as the attendees go is to have it. It was only that one meeting, the 16th, that he was a little late.
All right, let's do one at a time.
All right, I'm just gonna-
Yeah, but
no,
I
I'm-
agree with you because I noticed he wasn't
Okay.
listed as an attendee, but he was recorded as having voted.
Okay,
So
and
he was,
Okay, we're on to April 16th right now.
yeah, we're going back.
We're going back to that, and what we want
he
Done
did
with
arrive after the absentee ballots on the
Yeah.
16th.
on the
So that's
16th.
correct.
That
That's
one's correct.
Are we done with the 16th?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we are.
So on the 23rd,
We
the
need,
sentence about Marty arriving late should be struck.
That should be.
right. Okay.
Now, there, in these two,
Are you on the 23rd?
I'm on the 23rd. As Holly pointed out, there are two almost duplicate versions.
Oh, and not only struck, but he has to be added as an attendee.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, so I wrote in the file names,
You want to check that, because there were some days that he wasn't here.
the reason that since it says that
Yeah.
he seconded a motion or something. Or made a motion,
He
so,
made a motion to adjourn.
okay.
Okay.
Now,
We're on the
these two,
23rd.
I'm still on the 23rd, these two file names were almost identical, but one of them had the word final at the bottom. The one that has final in the file name, and Tony, I'll go over this with you, is the one that doesn't have the signature lines at the bottom. It does have the correct date of April 23rd, 2024 at 2:00 p.m.
I don't know what you're talking about, Bob, you gotta show me.
All right. So the reason
This one here
that one there
is right.
is correct in terms of the date up at the top.
Mhm.
In a minute, there's gonna be,
Hold on, just go one at a
all
time.
right. But it doesn't have the signature lines at the bottom.
Right. None of you have, it's just one of the things, not all the meeting minutes should have signature lines at them, because we don't sign off on any of these. That's just a typo that we have. This stuff here, the signature lines for Antoinette, Bob, and Tawana are not on our notes at all, because we have not signed off on any of our membership. So
They're on every one.
that's because that's how they were printed out. I didn't do that. I mean, it needs to be marked off.
Okay, it's a separate discussion, I think. All right, so in that case, the one that says final, I'd suggest that we retain, because the one that said, it's got the word final in the file name. It's the one that says April 23rd at the top. And that's it, yes ma'am,
Okay.
that is correct. There's another file that is identical in terms of the file name,
Okay.
but it's incorrect. It adds these lines, but it's this, I think it adds some of the confusion that Holly was pointing out. It says April 26th, excuse me, it says April 16th in the opening line. I don't know if you,
I don't have that.
okay,
That's
Just
what I'm
as well.
trying to figure out what you're doing.
Don't worry about it, we don't need it. Just use the other one.
Yeah, this is the one I need.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this is the other one I don't need, right?
yes
I
ma'am.
don't know what that is.
Okay.
I don't know what you're.
No, this is the one that we already approved.
Whatever.
Okay, I don't have anything else for April 23rd.
So it's just that one line on there that I need to, that needs to be crossed out. Do I need to add, did you say to add Marty somewhere?
As
And the member
as
present?
being present. yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Great. There we go. And that was April. And Marty's name. All right.
Got it now.
Our chairman has had a moment of discovery.
Just resolving for myself. Yeah, inconsistency. All right, April 30th. Does anyone have comments, edits, corrections? I do not.
Need to add that Marty was present.
Which one, the first one or the second one?
April 30.
There's two dates for April, or two times.
At
the
3
2
o'clock.
Or the 3 o'clock one. Okay. Thank you.
And then, I don't know, 2/3 of the way down, under consideration of early voting plans. Member Holly Powell expressed her preference of Plan 2 with the change of doing early voting on Sunday from, it just says FRO, comma,
Okay.
should be from. And then at the bottom, next to last line, when the, should say results instead of resulted, were uploaded. And then, yeah, that's it.
Found it.
You're on the 3 o'clock page, I'm sorry, Helen.
Yes,
Okay.
where do you need me to?
She's looking for results.
It's on the next to last sentence, line,
Okay,
when the resulted or uploaded, it should say when the
When the
results.
okay. Anything else?
All right.
We
Not
found,
for me.
okay.
Okay. On, was that the 30th of April?
Yes.
We're on,
I didn't,
we should be on the 30th at 2 now.
the second meeting, I'm sorry.
We did them backwards. But the 2
Now we're
o'clock,
looking at the April 30th meeting, 2 o'clock meeting.
need to add Marty as present.
Gracious, I don't remember him being late to all these meetings.
Well, he made a motion, but he isn't listed as
Okay.
being present. I mean, the minutes say he made a motion.
Do you put in there when Bob's late to them?
I do. Put in there when I'm late to the meeting, oh yeah, it's in there, because that's what they do. Yeah,
But just
anybody
because,
late, just if you don't matter what.
We-
You start.
for Marty, we
moving
just
yourself.
get reminded each time, like a previous time. Okay. May 7th. Any comments, questions, clarifications? Edits? May 7th, huh? Is that enough? You still-
Wait, is Marty in there? No,
I think it's the,
Is
that
it
went
all
through, yes, it includes, same thing there.
Marty's missing.
He was on time and he was not.
That's what happens when you copy and paste.
I'm very familiar with that phenomenon.
Anything else on May 7th?
All right. May 11th, also,
And Marty? No, he's
No.
on.
no, he's, he reappeared. What's notable, and this is a good thing, about May 11th, again, we had 2 meetings on that day, and file names that we were sent indicate that one was an absentee meeting and one was a special meeting. Okay. Sorry, I usually like to go last, but since I've already started yakking on May 11th, the one for, yeah, the one that says, well, they also, this is the one that says Saturday, May 11th, 2024 at 2 o'clock PM. That's really, should be 5:30 PM. Our first meeting was at 5:30 and the second meeting was at 6 o'clock. And
And then
well, no, I won't leave it at that. The other one that's, the file name says it's May 11th, special meeting. The first line of the minutes, those say May 7th at 6 o'clock PM. That's May 11th at 6 PM. Okay, and I just kind of jumped ahead.
So are
In
you
order- in order-
done with 5:30? The meeting that was at 5:30?
5:30, no, that's what, I am done with that.
Anybody else has corrections to the 5:30 meeting? Okay, let's go to the 6 o'clock meeting.
All right, at the 6 o'clock meeting, in the data switch paragraph, third paragraph, Director Dixon explained in detail where the error was made and the wrong USB stick was put into the wrong machine prior to election day. I think we don't need both wrongs there. I think that, and I don't, somebody can clarify that for me. Is it a wrong USB stick was put into the machine, or the USB stick was put into the wrong machine?
Or 2 USBs were switched.
Yes, it was the two flash drives or USB sticks
Right.
were put into, they were switched.
Right,
Okay.
that's the best way to put it.
So, when the programmer programs our, stuff and I so-called burn the flash drive, it's burned for a specific precinct. So, the one for Carthage was placed in the Pinehurst B2 machine, and the one for Pinehurst B2 was placed in the Carthage.
Right. And we,
So you just say that 2 flash drives were switched?
that's enough.
The last sentence of that paragraph, it should say several checks and balances to remove there instead of just several checks. I wondered also if we wanted to say a little bit more about not just the checks and balances, but additional training for poll workers.
Yeah, I've got it.
Because we did a lot,
Yeah.
you know,
And I had my sense as well was that the paragraph is accurate, once we got the business about the switch. As far as the win, but I think it doesn't quite, in a lot of instances, short and sweet covers it. In this particular meeting, I don't think it does justice to the nature of the issue, and even more important, the extent to which it was addressed by the staff. I think we had a comprehensive demonstration of how the USB stick is loaded into the tabulator, or whatever the name of it is, that's whatever you want to call it. Whatever is the correct name of the machine that receives the stick, the expanded checklist to provide multiple points of oversight, and the revised training materials and handouts for poll workers.
Is that what you want us to say?
That's what would, something like that, I think, is a better representation of how that special meeting addressed the issue that was brought to our attention.
I like to.
All right, okay. Tony, I'll give this to you.
Before you move on, comprehensive demonstration of how.
What?
Okay, got it.
All right, Anne Marie, what's the best thing to call the machine that you put to the flash drive?
The
The
DS200
DS200.
or tabulator. You wanna keep it
I said
simple.
tabulator.
Mhm.
Why don't you go ahead and put DS200 tabulator? All right, anything else on May 11th? Either meeting? Let's see, I kind of jumped over the absentee ballot meeting on the 11th. We had an absentee ballot meeting, and we just fixed the time on that, and then the special meeting.
No, we already approved it. I mean, we said it was okay.
Okay,
If we change it to 5:30.
yes, okay, good. May, all right, we have I think we know this, we had a meeting on May 14th, and don't have minutes for that. Does that agree with your tabulation? So May 24th. And I have my notes saying I don't have any comments or corrections or edits for that.
You're on May 24th.
On May 24th. Yes, ma'am.
24.
We did, I didn't print them out because I didn't have anything.
Now, is that two different things, times that we've had where we don't have minutes now?
Almost, would you like,
Okay, I've got, yeah.
July
I don't
29th.
have any comments.
Oh, no, in fact, there's 3.
What's that?
That
I'm
was the
showing
second.
that we're missing March 15th. Okay,
Can we,
okay, we'll finish.
thank you, let's finish before we go on to that. One thing at a time, please. Thanks. Helps me keep us on track.
I don't have any comments on May 24th.
Neither do I, and Susan, either, she would hyped up by now. I also have, that there was, this is later, this is our previous meeting, just to know, Tony, I'm sure you already know, this, July 29th. We'll also need minutes for that, and going back to what Holly said, back on the second meeting on March 15th, the one at 12:30.
So now we're at 4.
Yeah, I've got 3.
I think just 3.
So what are someone repeat for me again the dates
This
that we need minutes for?
This is what I've
Because I
got.
just got 4 new ones. Yes, ma'am?
March 5th,
Uh-huh,
March 15th at 12:30,
okay,
May 14th,
okay,
and July 29th.
okay, because that's the one we used.
It was, I started the sentence that says need March 5th, but I just put need.
Susan was counting.
You'll have all these done by 8, Johnny, probably.
No,
We're gonna have a special emergency meeting at 9.
those other ones we can present at the next meeting.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
have those already.
All right.
See if we can get them on the agenda. Anything else?
I was about to ask the same question. Anything else from the board, the director, the staff?
I would like for Holly to compliment me that she knows I read these minutes.
It was clear. I tried to catch up with Holly, but I couldn't.
You're complimented.
I was waiting.
Consider yourself, you know. So, and I sometimes forget about this until I'm in the parking lot, but just, I think Susan has already acknowledged this for one of the elements that we have, but just many thanks to all the hard work of the staff and the director and people behind the scenes to prepare all these materials and to work on planning that makes not only our meetings run efficiently and clearly, but of course, that's not the main goal. The main goal is to support the voters of Moore County and ensure that the elections go smoothly so that we can all have confidence. So thank you all very much.
Before we do anything, don't get this motion in second.
Ah.
I'm waiting.
Well, that was still part of the meeting. I'm
Oh,
not
okay,
ready.
I'm waiting, don't you get rid of this one.
Just wanna be sure nobody else has anything to say.
I make a motion that we approve all the minutes with the edits that we have discussed.
Second that motion.
Is there any further discussion about the minutes? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, if there's nothing else, I'll
I make a
entertain.
motion to adjourn.
See, she beat me again.
I'm going to make all the.
Is there a second?
There is a second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
6:39.